to be vulnerable. There's a need to be vulnerable because it helps to build trust and understanding. When you know your mate, when you know him or her very well, you will be able to understand why they are doing what they are doing or why they are not doing what they're doing. You'll be able to understand them properly and you can relate with them.
That's right.
And it builds a bond.
That's right.
It boosts emotional intelligence when you have this understanding. Then it helps with mental and emotional healing in the relationship. Then it also engenders spiritual power. In a home where everybody is open, there's no hiding place, no secret sins. The presence and power of the Holy Spirit will be there. And you find that when all of these, when you're really open, you will really, really build a bond of intimacy. And the marriage becomes strong and unbreakable, unshakable. You cannot be scattered or thrown aside. So these are the advantages as have been given. Then, but what happens if some people do not want to be vulnerable because they will be criticized, or the partner could use it as a weapon against them later when there's a misunderstanding. They will say, but your family, things you have revealed in secret, in trust, he now uses your family to abuse you. He uses your mistakes of the past to abuse you, and so for that reason some people don't want to open up, but they ought to be open. So, and I think basically that's it. But the problem is this: what happens if you're married to a partner who is immature? What happens? There are some people who marry very troublesome people, troublesome spouses. What do you do in such an instance? I leave the question to us. Maybe some of us are in such situations. And so you don't tell them. We've heard of some women, building a house, the husband knows nothing about it. Or vice versa. The husband builds and the wife doesn't know. There's money in the banks because the man didn't tell the wife, passes away, and the wealth doesn't come to the family. So all of these things come. So, but because of the fear of rejection, ridicule, or using it as a weapon, so that's why some people do not want to
Be
open
vulnerable. Okay.
up. But
Thank you very
ideally, it's supposed to make for the health of the family, of the relationship.
If I can understand you, mommy, it means to be transparent. It means to
Yes,
be open to our spouses.
yes,
This concept of being vulnerable, it simply means to be open, to be transparent, to trust our spouse, to be able to open up to them. Now, I
yes,
was checking some of the definitions of vulnerability, and one says it's consciously choosing not to hide your emotions or your desires from your spouse. And you mentioned something about fear. The fear of being disappointed, of being embarrassed, of being rejected makes us to close up. So if, like you said, if you are married to someone, you feel, oh, if I open up about this, maybe about your health. There was a case in one of our previous lessons where they said the wife refused to have sex with the husband because she had breast cancer. I said, up till the time she was diagnosed to have breast cancer, the husband did not know, and they called themselves husband and wife. This is where the issue of this being transparent to one another comes in. How could a wife be having such medical problem and the husband does not know? So, and that was the reason why she refused to have sex with the husband, because she was having that. So these are the issues coming up in marriage. Why should a man not be vulnerable to his wife? Why should a woman not be vulnerable? Why should we not be transparent? What are those fears holding us down? How do we deal with that? Because like we said, when I was researching this, vulnerability is actually a key to a better relationship. Once we're open to our spouses, our emotions, everything about us is open. It makes your partner to understand you, and it makes you to be accepted. Once you're accepted, you feel happier. But this fear, how do you deal with that fear? Let me first ask that question, man. How do you deal with the fear of, oh, will my spouse understand me? Will he accept me? Especially maybe you have one weakness or the other. Will he accept? How do you overcome such fear, man? Let me take
Hmm.
it from there. Please,
I
let's have
think
questions in the chat. How do
the
you
thing is this:
this one?
there are some people, the way they were brought up,
Yes.
the home background.
Okay.
They don't share things. They don't. They just talk officially and that's it. Any extra personal thing, maybe they never had an open relationship with their parents, with
Hmm,
daddy or mommy. And so they transfer this into marriage.
that's
And
true.
so you see, some can't easily open up to their spouses, their hurts, their pains.
Hmm. We should not be.
So we should not be.
Yes, yeah.
But if somebody is married to a very understanding person, that partner will be able to pry open their inner person through love, through patience, through prayers. But
Hmm.
for the person directly involved, they may find it difficult to open up to their spouse. But where there is a healthy, how do I say it, a relationship that's not threatening, gradually he or she might begin to learn to trust again and to open up. Now, there's a family I know. They grew up in an environment where it was where everybody to your own, mind
To
your business
yourself.
kind of thing. And now he now got married to a lady whose family is,
Hmm.
when something is happening, is everybody else's business.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't understand why is it something is happening and then everybody knows about it. It was like hide, hide. But over a period of time, he began to thaw and he began to see the positive side of this, that it does help. So he's a changed person, at least to an extent now. I
Okay.
know him, so that's what I'm saying, what I'm saying.
All right.
So there are some people like that. Their home background. So it takes love, patience, and prayers to win them over. When they are sure they won't be threatened, or they whatever they say to you won't transfer it to the whole world, they will now want to open up.
Thank you, ma. Let's have your question. Yeah, okay, God's Revival, thank you for connecting us tonight. Let's have your question coming up in the chat. Let's know you are connecting us tonight, and this topic, you are really getting something from it. Like I said, it's a new concept to me, but the more I study, the more I realize that we all need to understand it. We all need to be vulnerable to our partner. There are things that's not supposed to be, but because we are not transparent. And this bring the deeper meaning of that Genesis 2:25. They were one, they were naked, and they were not ashamed. But there are several things that we are not open to our spouse for, because we don't trust our spouse, because we have the fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood. That should not be. And that's why we want to preach this concept, that it should not be seen as weakness. Some of us believe it will lead to abuse. No, the fear of being abused makes us to fold up, to close up, which at times leads to depression and isolation. So these are the things we need to understand. Thank you for connecting us tonight. Please let's have your questions in the chat. Mommy is here to answer those questions by the help of the Holy Spirit tonight. So, Mommy, you can continue. So how do you, like you said, it could be from previous experience of the family you're bringing. How do you now, how do you now overcome that? How do you not, like you said, it's a
Yes.
gradual process.
You see, some
Okay,
people may not be aware they
okay,
are like that.
okay,
But it is as people begin to say things to them. So,
okay.
like I said, it depends again on the maturity of the person concerned. When you begin to relate with people and then they say things to you, or your husband or your wife begins to say, darling, I don't understand. When you should know it's a cause of concern to them. You see, marriage is not supposed to be a selfish thing. A lot of people enter marriage with selfish attitudes. So it's
Yes.
not about you, it's about your partner. It is for you to I don't want to use the word partner because this is supposed to be a proper marriage of male to female. I'm talking about now, biblical marriage. So it's your spouse. If
Okay.
your spouse begins to show concern or complain about you not opening up, then you should know that it is a cause of concern to them.
Hmm.
And so you have to get out of that selfish mode and then let them know, I am sorry. I don't want to hide myself from you, but because of A, B, C, D, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I
Okay.
think you can take it from there.